Wow.
Danny Zuko's back.
I was thinking
Hey, yo.
there was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead.
Grease.
Hey, yo.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Heal Project. We are back with Theory Thursday. Welcome to this. Wait, we haven't got this hair anymore, boys.
Yeah, no.
Isn't that mad?
This will be the third week, so yeah, this hair will have gone.
I ain't gonna wear hats no more.
Wow. Well, this hair is not like this. This was pre-recorded 3 weeks ago. So yeah.
Yeah, I am
Mine still
bold.
probably will be.
I am bold.
Yeah.
I'll be pretty
And
proud.
I'm probably very, very happy.
Thank fuck for
Yeah,
that,
Phil
because
can't get rid of his.
me and Pete have been just going mental with Link recently. No, we haven't. We are back with the Theory Thursday, though, and it was Phil's turn, because it was Link's last week, and it's Phil's turn this week. We had mermaids, aquatic apey things last week. Oh, goggles are on.
Because I need to read.
So he can swim down to the aquatic apes.
Google glasses are on. What have you got for us, Phil?
So, where were you
Probably not alive.
when Kennedy was shot?
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah,
alive.
I wasn't alive.
He probably was.
Pete was about 50.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Everybody's supposed to know where they were when Kennedy was killed. Which happened on the 22nd of November, 1963.
Yeah, definitely wasn't alive.
No. Pete, was that your first birthday?
No, he was about 12.
Phil. The
Come
thing
on,
is,
guys, man, concentrate.
I'm the same age as Phil.
That's true. You are. So, everybody knows Lee Harvey Oswald in the bookstore killed Kennedy.
Nose is a strong word, but yeah.
Okay.
Was this the conspiracy?
Well, for me, and by the way, has anybody seen the film?
Which one?
It was a real thing,
There's multiple films about this.
So the main big, the Kevin Costner one, I think he was in it.
JFK.
Yes, JFK.
No, I don't think I have.
You've not seen it. Well, it's a good film, so you should.
And we will catch you in the next episode.
There's an endorsement.
So for me, it's aside from the film, has anybody ever actually seen the main footage of what actually happened on the day?
I have.
I've seen the dark footage that you're not supposed to see. So yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very weird that such a massive event, a president essentially being killed, is actually caught on camera as well. It's for me, it's something I've always been actually quite fascinated with, and the whole sort of like conspiracy theories that come around it. So, as I say, Lee Harvey Oswald was the one that was obviously responsible for killing.
Okay.
But there was a commission report came out back in, I forget the actual year it actually came out, that basically just said it was him, lone gunman, all on his own. When you start to dig into it though, it's one of those that, because it was such a high profile thing, it always is going to allow itself to many conspiracy theories.
Okay, so let's structure it like this. Which conspiracy were you going for?
So it was that it wasn't him. There was more than he was like the patsy. He was the fall guy for it.
Right. So have you got the facts and figures about how he was caught?
How he was caught?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he actually went on to kill somebody. Well, he went on to kill somebody else, and then was hiding in theatre, and then that's how they found him, and he was arrested for murder.
Mm-hmm.
But then, obviously, himself, I think 2 days after his arrest, was murdered as well.
He was shot outside
by a guy called Jack Ruby, who was a nightclub owner. how all that's linked together in the conspiracies, I'm not quite sure.
Okay, so I can fill in the blank there if
Okay.
you really want.
Yeah.
So Jack Ruby was a hitman for a mob, and the conspiracy theory about his hit and the fact that Lee Harvey Oswald was murdered there was that it was a mob organized hit in the first place, and
So that is
they
one
were
of the
worried
main
that
ones,
he was gonna speak it out, basically. So they organized the hit on the hitman to make sure that he couldn't spill the beans as such.
Yeah. So going on from that, if you dig into it a bit more, there is quite a few witnesses up to 3 years after the assassination of Kennedy that were killed, which again lends itself to the theory that it wasn't just this one guy that was just had a former US Marine, defected to Soviet Union, came back, had a chip on his shoulder, was pro-Castro, all that kind of stuff. The report itself, apparently, I think it's actually, in fact, not apparent that Kennedy's nephew was documented to say that it was the report itself, the Warren Commission, was completely rubbish. No truth to it in it whatsoever. Even the footage itself, if you watch actually what happens and really pay attention to it, you can. So the story is that he's shot from behind, up above. He was shot first. You can see him lean forward and grab his chest. His Senator Connolly in front of him was also then injured from another bullet, but then obviously the fatal one. If you watch that itself, as shocking and gruesome as it actually is, really, you would expect that the force of the shot from behind will propel him forward. It doesn't. He goes back, which suggests that there was then somebody else involved and it came from the front rather than behind, which then suggests, well, if it wasn't him, who was it?
So
it's just
is there any record of where the bullet wounds were? Because just for a side note,
Lots of records
of that he was shot in the back,
where he was shot,
from behind. Right. So for me, when I had my heart attack thing, when my defibrillator went off, I obviously got hit in the chest. So this is the other way around. But I thought I got smacked by something from behind, rather than from the front. So it's for me, that's not out of the realms of possibility that his body, so it's like his brain got confused and his nerve endings just changed which way round everything was.
He didn't have a brain at that point.
Wow. It would have still hit a nerve though, wouldn't it? And it would have still activated a muscle in the body.
I think a lot of the inertia of his body as well was, yes, the bullet hit him from behind and pushed his head forwards, but his body was pushed back because the driver accelerated at the same time to get the car out of there to try and get out of the situation, because there was obviously something going on. So I think that was part of the movement of the body there as well. There's multiple. It's a very, very fascinating subject because there's so much detail in such a small. I don't think there's ever been a case that's so well documented and so scrutinized over, and there's so much information out there about everything that happened and everything that went on around it. The fact that I wasn't even alive at the time and yet I know as much as I do about it is kind of a testament to how much information there was about it. There was, I think, one of the more interesting conspiracy theories for me was the idea of a second shooter on the
grassy knoll, yeah.
And then there's the woman in
umbrella.
Well, the woman in the flowery dress as well.
Okay.
Was never located afterwards. Has never come forward. Was filming the whole thing. The footage has never been seen. She's never come forward. She's never been heard of, and no one knows who it is, where that footage is, or anything.
But also, the man with the umbrella on a very, very sunny day with the umbrella up, he came forward. I believe this is right. He came forward and said it was him quite a long way after, and then it was later found out a few years later that was bollocks. It wasn't him. So again, another person that's probably quite prominent in the case, because that was a whole conspiracy theory that the bullet came from the umbrella. You seen that one?
Yeah. I've seen that one. I mean, I dismissed the Umbrella Man, as he's known, like pretty quick, really. Just out of interest, though, I wanted to ask you because that was in the November. You've been to Texas in the January.
I have.
Is it warm?
Very.
Very warm. So then you would think that it's not stupid to think that you would have an umbrella up to keep the sun away.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
keep the.
There
No,
is
it's
that.
not.
There is that.
So I didn't really sort of like consider that much more than that. Really, to be fair.
My only argument was, though, in all of that footage, bearing in mind how much footage there is, I think he is the
Yep.
only umbrella.
Yep. But
And
he is
you
the
think
only
if
one.
that was that warm,
Yeah.
and people would use their knowledge and gone, yeah, I can take the brolly out. Like, because if that's the case, that's probably someone that uses their umbrella regularly in the heat to shade from it, and I'd imagine that's not an uncommon thing. But in that footage, in all of the footage, it was an uncommon thing. It wasn't
Yeah, I mean,
a
it's obviously
normal situation.
for their time as well. So this is the 60s, isn't it?
A lot
You know-
more would have been about.
7, I think, yeah.
You've got the. Well, it's not just that. That was an umbrella. Parasols would have been a thing more then as well. Like, and people would have made the differential between a parasol and an umbrella. Nowadays, it doesn't matter. Like, people don't really care about that sort of etiquettes and stuff. But I think back then that would have made a bigger difference, and people would have been more likely to have carried a parasol for that sort of event and that
That's
sort
why
of
it stood
situation.
out as much as well.
Yeah. So I do think there is some credit to that, and there's definitely a suspicion. Although, to be honest with you, that could have just been a CIA guy that was there as security, you know, and it would make complete sense. And you know, they've not revealed that because you know it was security. He wasn't supposed to be revealed. He was undercover as such.
There's been between 1,000 to 2,000 books, articles published
It's
in
crazy.
relation to just conspiracy theories on this alone. It's so massive for the conspiracy theorists out there that you know it's just huge. You could go on forever with it, really.
I think the only thing that's comparable to it in our times is 9/11.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
genuinely,
I
I
was
think
about to
that's
say,
the only thing that's comparable.
I think the only other time in history that something is so well covered with cameras and documented is the only other thing is 9/11. I don't think there's a single other thing that is so well documented. Not just by writings, but by video footage as well. And you've got to remember, this is 1963. Like, cameras weren't like that.
Yeah, people didn't
easily
have
available.
camera phones and stuff like
Exactly.
this.
Even like
Yeah.
2001, obviously we didn't have the camera phones, but like cameras and things were easily available and whatnot. And there's probably thousands of times more news stations and stuff than there was back in '63. So for me, the fact that we had that much sort of camera footage, and yet we know so much about it, but there's also so much disbelief about it all. It's just mind-boggling. The JFK assassination. Like, how on earth
One of
can we
the
have that
things
much?
that I wanted to pitch here, one of the things that I wanted to pitch with this one, because I'm sorry to kind of take this away from you a little bit, Phil, but one of the things that I was very curious about this. So there's a rumor that I've seen, and it is rumor. Like, I haven't got any of the evidence. I'm sure there is some, but there's rumors that JFK was planning to overturn all of the Area 51 documentation and secrecy acts around it, and also essentially reveal contact with aliens. Was one of the rumors, and that was one of the reasons that he was assassinated and taken out, so that was not a thing that was going to happen. But that is a very strong rumor within the conspiracy community around this as well, is that was something that was going to happen. And there is evidence out there. I know there is evidence out there that he was a supporter of the freedom of information around that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's very
I
interesting.
think it's called being a good person. I think he was just a genuine good person. I think that's why I don't know if I believe in that he was going to be exposing aliens, but yes, certainly the Freedom of Information Act. I think he was completely believable.
Well, no, it's freedom of information on that topic.
Oh, okay.
that he was a known like a correspondent for. I believe there's been other presidents since that have been very open to trying to open that sort of dialect, I suppose, with the public up as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they've all been shot down by their teams and everything else as well, and since as well. So it has been something that has been broached on multiple occasions since JFK, and it's always been shut down.
Definitely
Read
one of
this
the
out
most
to you.
interesting ones.
Public opinion polls have consistently shown that most Americans believe that there was a conspiracy to kill President Kennedy. There are polls that show no agreement on who else may have been involved in the shooting. Back in 2003, there was a Gallup poll reported that 75% of Americans do not believe that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. In the same year, an ABC News poll found that 70% of respondents suspected that assassination involved more than one person. And then in 2009, 76% of people polled for CBS News said that they believed the president had been killed as a result of a conspiracy. In 2013, 61% of Americans, the lowest figure in nearly 50 years, believed that other people besides Oswald were involved.
Still over half of everyone that polled.
Yeah. For over 60 years, over half of everybody that's ever been asked has thought that there's something else to it.
Here's the thing, I think, even with amongst us, I think there's probably 100% that I don't like. I think for a fact that Lee Harvey Oswald pulled the trigger, that he was the man that shot him. I don't believe he was completely acted alone on it, and I believe there was probably a bit more to it than just shooting him because of his reasons of his defectiveness to his Marxist, is that the right word? Marxist, like sort of opinions. That's mine.
I believe there's definitely more to it. The way people started going afterwards as well. The witnesses a bit. There was definitely more to it. I said last time when we saw experience theories, there's coincidences, but when they happen so often, it's hold on a minute. There's definitely, it seems there's more to it, and this is one of them again for me. There's too many coincidences for people going missing, dying, not coming forward. There's too many bits to fit together.
My final thoughts on this are there are too many people that are way smarter than us, that have way more of the facts, figures, and details, that still believe that there's something more to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me to be able to sit here and go, yay or nay either way,
That's fair.
I couldn't. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's definitely an interesting one.
It's an interesting one. Phil, it's a good one that you bought. It's obviously I know you are hoping to cover a bit more ground on it yourself, but I mean it's your first time, mate. It's your first time, so we're not fussed on that. But it's a great one.
I've enjoyed it.
I want to know everyone's opinions on this one because out of the three, this is a lot. This is the three that we've done on this recording. This is so far. This is the one that's got the most evidence and other facts involved that could come into play to this theory. The Bohemian Grove one, okay, it's all hearsay. It's all he said, she said. The mermaids, it's a lot of number crunching. You got to do a lot of number crunching. This one, there's actual straight facts.
Yeah.
So I'm interested for everyone's opinions in the comments here, as always. So let us know. Well, for a start, so what was the actual conspiracy theory that JFK was shot by Lee Harvey Oswald? What was the actual
So the
theory
conspiracy
that
is that he didn't act alone and it was an inside job involving the CIA and many other organisations and people in power.
Okay, well, you've heard the man. Let us know what your opinions are down in the comments, and I look forward to reading them all, and we will go through them.
Me too.
So we will catch you in the next one.
Yeah.
See you later.
Peace.